Today we are going to talk about fractures. A fracture is a disruption in bone continuity that may be complete or incomplete. Fractures occur through four major mechanisms: direct blows, crushing forces, twisting injuries, and powerful muscle contractions causing avulsion fractures. The mechanism of injury often predicts the fracture pattern and associated soft tissue damage. Understanding how the injury occurred helps guide assessment, imaging, and treatment priorities. Fracture morphology reflects injury severity and treatment complexity. Greenstick fractures are incomplete breaks commonly seen in children, while comminuted fractures involve multiple bone fragments and are more difficult to repair. Intra-articular fractures extend into the joint space and increase the risk of long-term arthritis and impaired function. Open fractures are graded using the Gustilo-Anderson scale, with higher grades indicating greater tissue destruction, contamination, and infection risk. Classic fracture findings include pain, loss of function, deformity, shortening, crepitus, and rapid swelling with ecchymosis. Muscle spasm often worsens pain and pulls fracture fragments out of alignment. Not all fractures present with every sign, especially stress or non-displaced fractures that may show only localized pain and tenderness. Clinical suspicion should always guide imaging and further evaluation. Emergency fracture management follows a strict sequence. Immobilize first, splint the joints above and below the injury, and perform neurovascular checks before and after splinting. Open fractures require immediate sterile dressing application to reduce contamination and infection risk. Never attempt fracture reduction in the field because manipulating exposed bone can worsen vascular injury and drive bacteria deeper into the tissue. Prompt stabilization protects both bone and surrounding soft tissue. Definitive fracture management requires reduction to restore anatomical alignment and immobilization to maintain stability during healing. Closed reduction repositions the fracture without surgery, while ORIF uses surgical exposure and hardware such as plates, screws, or rods for stabilization. Immobilization methods include casts, splints, traction, and external fixators depending on fracture type and swelling. Supportive care across all treatment methods includes elevation, ice, pain control, and early movement of unaffected joints to preserve function. Nursing priorities differ significantly between closed and open fractures. Closed fracture care focuses on edema control, pain management, safe use of assistive devices, and discharge planning for mobility and home safety. Open fractures shift the priority to infection prevention with immediate IV antibiotics, tetanus prophylaxis, irrigation and debridement, and close wound monitoring. Continuous assessment of temperature, WBC trends, and wound appearance is essential because infection can progress to osteomyelitis or limb loss. Bone healing depends on both biological factors and nursing support during recovery. Healing is promoted by younger age, good blood supply, stable immobilization, and early mobilization when appropriate. Healing is delayed by advanced age, smoking, diabetes, osteoporosis, poor fracture alignment, and unstable immobilization. Patients with multiple risk factors are at high risk for delayed union or non-union, making patient education and management of modifiable risks essential. Fracture complications develop along a timeline from acute emergencies to long-term healing disorders. Early complications include shock, fat embolism syndrome, compartment syndrome, VTE, DIC, and infection, especially in open fractures. Late complications include delayed union, non-union, avascular necrosis, complex regional pain syndrome, and heterotopic ossification. Nursing priorities shift from rapid recognition and intervention early on to long-term monitoring, education, and reassessment of abnormal pain or impaired healing. Two major early fracture complications are fat embolism syndrome and acute compartment syndrome. Fat embolism syndrome occurs when marrow fat enters the bloodstream after long bone fractures, causing hypoxemia, neurological changes, and a petechial rash. Acute compartment syndrome develops when pressure within a fascial compartment compromises blood flow and nerve function. Severe pain out of proportion to the injury is the earliest and most important warning sign, and immediate intervention is critical because delayed fasciotomy can result in permanent tissue loss. Early systemic fracture complications include shock, VTE, DIC, and infection. Major fractures such as femur or pelvic injuries can cause significant internal blood loss leading to hypovolemic shock, requiring close monitoring of vital signs and perfusion. Immobilization increases the risk for DVT and pulmonary embolism, making anticoagulation, compression devices, and early mobility essential. Severe trauma can trigger DIC with simultaneous clotting and bleeding, while open fractures carry high risk for osteomyelitis, requiring strict aseptic technique, antibiotics, and vigilant wound assessment. Fractures can fail to heal through delayed union, non-union, or malunion. Delayed union means healing is progressing slowly, while non-union is complete failure of the bone to heal without intervention. Malunion occurs when the bone heals in poor alignment, leading to impaired function and deformity. Persistent pain, swelling, instability, or loss of function months after fracture healing should prompt reassessment for these complications. Delayed fracture complications include avascular necrosis, complex regional pain syndrome, and heterotopic ossification. Avascular necrosis results from interrupted blood supply, most commonly after femoral neck fractures, leading to progressive pain and loss of function. Complex regional pain syndrome causes severe chronic burning pain with sensory and autonomic changes, and procedures on the affected limb should be avoided whenever possible. Heterotopic ossification is abnormal bone formation within soft tissue that limits range of motion and may require surgical removal. Fracture care is a continuous process that moves from injury recognition to stabilization, definitive repair, healing, and long-term complication monitoring. Early priorities include immobilization, neurovascular protection, pain control, and prevention of shock, infection, and compartment syndrome. Definitive management uses reduction and fixation to restore alignment, while bone healing progresses over weeks to months. Across every stage, the nursing goal remains functional restoration, not just healing the fracture, but helping the patient regain safe mobility, independence, and quality of life. In summary, fracture care begins with rapid stabilization and continues through healing, rehabilitation, and long-term complication monitoring. Early priorities include immobilization, neurovascular assessment, pain control, and prevention of life-threatening complications such as fat embolism syndrome, compartment syndrome, shock, and infection. Long-term outcomes depend on proper fracture healing, prevention of delayed union or non-union, and recognition of complications like avascular necrosis and CRPS. Throughout every phase, the nursing goal remains the same: protect function, preserve mobility, and help the patient return safely to daily life.